to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Welcome, everyone. You're now listening to the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people, peace, positive frames of reference, and reciprocity. Honor and a privilege to be joining you today with the content. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome to anybody new that just may be randomly tuning in right now. It's the Narrative Podcast live edition. I'm broadcasting live. My narrators already know the demonstration. They're familiar with my platform. They know what my content is about. But for the new listeners, I'll give you a brief run through about my content and what I'm trying to accomplish in this space, and how I came up with the idea. So before we dive into the content, let's start at the very top. The Narrative Podcast. All right. So basically I came up with this concept because it is to my belief that the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. I'll get to the original part in a second. Basically, they depict our people and our culture in a negative light. They do this intentionally. Mostly it's for gain, financial gain. They do it to sell news and articles. And, media, there's nobody that sells news like we do. So, also besides that, they do that to, perpetuate propaganda. They want to depict us in a negative light to cement their socioeconomic stronghold over society, meaning like to keep the dominant society in power by portraying us out to be something that we're not. And so what I wanted to do was to create a platform showing us in our true light, playing up our strengths, destroying negative stereotypes about our people and our culture. And how do I destroy the negative stereotypes? I provide positive frames of reference about us. As a matter of fact, the tagline for my podcast is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. So now that's basically the synopsis about what my platform is about. Again, the ultimate takeaway I want my listening audience to get from my content is how important it is to share positive content about our people and our culture on all platforms. That's why I call my listening audience my narrators, because we're all content creators to some small capacity these days. Everybody walking around with a computer in their pocket, and they post things online. These days, people judge you based upon the content that you're posting. So just imagine people outside of our culture, they're only given negative frames of reference about us. And here we are online feeding into the negative stereotypes by posting negative stereotypes. So this is all they know of us. So just imagine we're always posting gang culture, drug culture, gun culture, pimp culture, horror culture, thought culture, uh, you know, just basically anything that makes us seem criminalistic or amoral, um, downtrodden, destitute, disenfranchised. If we're always posting imagery like that online, that's what people, associate us with the imagery. This is what they produce content around, is what we're posting online. This is why we have all these crap reality television shows, because they're using that data that they collect online, off of what we're posting online, that they think that's what the audience wants to see. Like all the VH1 programming, keyword programming, um, you know, it's all an agenda. So it's a small step. It's not the end all be all solution to post positive content, but it's definitely a solution. So we can control the airways to some small capacity. We can control what we're posting on our own, you know, social media platforms, our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTubes, our TikToks, or whatever. You should, dedicate at least one post to something positive going on uh, within our culture, about our people. That's the ultimate takeaway I want from my listeners to get from the content that I'm delivering. So I noticed you noticed that I said the word original a lot. Basically, on my platform, I try to refer to our people as, the original people versus black. And there's nothing wrong with using the word black, but it has become wrong over the years because, in our original tongues and, native written languages and dialects of spoken language, black often refer to something positive, um, something, regal, something powerful. But, over time, throughout history, the powers that be, the people that was recording history, and recording history inaccurately, might I add, about our people, took and basically defiled the word black. They dirtied it up. They made it mean something negative. And that negativity has, over time resided negatively within our subconscious and has produced negative effects from saying the word black. If you go to any dictionary or thesaurus and look up the word black, you will see all this negative connotation surrounding it. But before they even get to all these negative example sentences, negative nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and so on, describing how to use the word black in a sentence, they go out of their way to denote origin. And it's the only color in the dictionary that denotes origin, a place of someone comes from. It says, it usually says original indigenous people descending from Africa. And then it'll start going in on the, the negativism. They'll be like black, dirty, gloomy, desolate, just basically anything negative sounding. The late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King made an excellent observance about that, the way they structured the dictionary to have everything black mean something bad, and then everything white means something good and pure. So, it's definitely psychological warfare at its finest, the way they constructed the English language. But, I'm getting to the original part right now. If you go into the same dictionary and look up the word original, you will see No negative connotation surrounding the word original. Original often hints at, the first, or in many cases, the best. There's nothing better than the original. Now, I think the word original should be used in reference to our people in place of the word black because we were and are the original people of this planet. We was here first. We was here about 5,000 years before any other civilization on this planet. And we wasn't just in Africa. We was everywhere. We was in parts of Europe as well. Definitely in the Americas already. So they can stop that narrative that we all came via slavery or transatlantic slavery or the channel slavery, who was already here. There's not one corner of the globe that we wasn't already originally inhabiting. So that's why, I think, the word original kind of trumps black any day. Because we was already originally here on the planet, on every corner of the globe. Then we originated everything in creation. We were the original scholars. We was the original architects. We was the original alchemists. We were the original journeymen. We were the original philosophers. We were the original teachers. We were the original chemists, original botanists. Pretty much anything in the world that had a beginning, we originated it. So, that's us in a nutshell. I think, referring to us as original is more empowering and uplifting than black. So it's nothing wrong with, referring to yourself as black. But, I believe in the power of words. And like I said, I believe the way the powers that be has structured this English language by saying the word black, it kind of from my perspective, is put something negative over us. And you look at us here in America, the state we're in the United States, and abroad, and tell me I'm not, all the way out of depth on that. But also saying the word original kind of unifies us because there's many different types of us all over the world. We all have different cultural beliefs and upbringings and backgrounds, but we all have something in common. We all have our skin, and we can all, even though we're not all originally from there, can trace our origins back to Africa. Ultimately, no matter where you're at in the world, no matter if you're from the islands, parts of Europe, UK, Germany, wherever. And then just sidebar, we were the original Greeks and Romans as well. So because everything, in the dictionary, Greek or, Latin, we were the original Greeks, Latins, and Romans. Just putting that out there. But yeah, that's why I refer to us as original. And before I almost went off super far on my side tangent, the word original, the word original also unifies us because we're from many different parts of the world. We believe many different types of things, but we all have our lineage in common. We can all throw it back to Africa at some point, even though we're not all from there. So, That's it in a nutshell. That's my ideology behind my podcast, my mission, what I'm trying to do with it on my digital space that I'm occupying. This is a live broadcast. Um, my format is basically how I destroy the negative stereotypes. I provide positive frames of reference via articles that I've come across, and then some commentary after that. After I share the articles. Um, so Black History Month ended last week, but if you've been tuning in, I know you would have heard me say that I'm going all the way to the first week of March with mine celebration of Black History Month, because obviously the short month, and I've already given my spiel of the relevance of Black History Month, because during Black History Month we was so super divided, because there was like many of us to believe Black history is a joke. We shouldn't be celebrating it. The white man gave us that to pacify us. And then there was many others that acknowledged the cultural significance of, celebrating our history and our lineage, our rich history and our rich lineage, no matter, how long or short the time frame was in the natural scope. Because Black History Month originally was Negro History Week, and it was celebrated on HBCUs all over the nation here in the United States. Then it got signed into law by Gerald Ford in the 60s, and it became Black History Month. But, to my point, it was HBCU students on dormitories that, rallied and saw the urgency to share our culture, our very, very rich culture. And we wouldn't know any of that. All the stuff we now know, we wouldn't know, like people who, were monumental in, propelling us forward as a people. We wouldn't know that because, the powers that be, they erase and change things so much, because back then we didn't have the internet. All we had was, encyclopedias, old newspaper articles and stories passed down from our ancestors to know about our past. But you definitely need to know about your past in order to connect with your present day self and to, eventually tune into your higher self. Because what they're programming us and feeding us, is just not us, indicative of us, who we are as a people. It's so jaded, warped, and skewed. It's essential that you need to know about your history. So Black History Month is necessary. For the people that don't believe it and want to fight against it, it's open for debate, but I'm not the debate guy. I'm not going to argue with you because I don't do arguing. I devote my platform for, uplifting, empowering, and edifying our people. I don't do back and forth. I don't argue. I don't do anything slanderous against our people. I don't drag people through the mud. I don't entertain, welcome, or, participate in gossip as well. Like if I don't know it for a fact, I never say it on my podcast, on my platform, or if I do, speak on something, it's just really to, prove my point or cement my point about something that I'm talking about. Not never to, denigrate somebody or tear somebody down. But anyway, diving right on into the content on this live edition of the Narrator podcast. In commemoration with Black History Month that has ended officially last week on the last day of February. But it's extended through the first week of March on my platform. And today, in the month of March, also this month, is National Women's History Month. So, I decided to combine the two. I'll be sharing some Black history facts about some really pivotal, trailblazing women in our community. So just one sec. Yeah. Check one, check two. All right. So, the first Black historical fact is about the woman behind the invention of the caller ID. And the sister's name was one Mrs. Shirley Jackson, born August 5th, 1946, in Washington, D.C. She was an American physicist, graduated MIT, worked at AT&T Bell Labs in 1976, studying solid state and quantum physics. In 1988, her experiments in theoretical physics and telecommunications led to the touch-tone phone, caller ID, and fiber optic cables. So all of her research data was used to make all those things. So all those things that I just named was designed off her, analytic data. Give a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Shirley Jackson in the invention of the caller ID, y'all. I don't know if that was a gift or a curse sometimes, though. Because sometimes, I don't know if you got one of those spam blockers, because sometimes it'll mark it as spam, but it really be an important call sometimes once in the blue. But hey, at least you know who's calling you. On to my next inventor. This is the woman behind, or known as the Queen of 3D. And this is one Mrs. Valerie Thomas, born Valerie Levine Thomas in Baltimore. She attended Morgan State University. She's a mathematical data analysis mathematical data analysis for NASA. In 1976, she attended a seminar. They gave her the inspiration to create 3D imaging tech. At the seminar, she observed an exhibit that they used a light bulb and concave mirrors, and it gave off the illusion effect. It made people think that the light bulb was still glowing even after it was unscrewed. She discovered that using flat mirrors and concave mirrors combined would create a similar effect. Like she noticed that flat mirrors made things appear like from behind them, whereas concave mirrors kind of gave things depth. So, she was experimenting with mirrors, and ultimately that's how it came to be. On October 21st, 1980, she patented the illusion transmitter that would later become the basis with all 3D technology. So give it up for Mrs. Valerie Thomas here on the Narrator Podcast for inventing 3D technology. And last but certainly last but certainly not least, we're going to round things out with the inventor or the woman behind home security or home security cameras. So, woman's name was Mark Van Brittan Brown, born in 1966, she invented it in 1966, Her and her husband filed a patent for a household closed-circuit television system. The system had a camera at the front of the door and looked through one end through 4 peepholes at different heights. The image was broadcast to the user on television sets in another part of the house. It would also have 2-way microphones, which allowed for communication with visitors at the door, and a remote switch that could unlock the door to let people in. So, the source of information didn't, tell where she was born and all that. But you can do your own research. But definitely a handy device, especially these days. They done elevated it, and now got the peephole camera. So, you can definitely see who's at your front door, stop all kinds of vandalism and, people from doing stupid stuff. Because if they do the dumb stuff, at least you got them on camera doing it. You'll get, compensated something in small claims court. But, that's it, and that's all for the articles this evening. The reason why I provide, the articles, my bad, I haven't got to the articles yet. Oh, my mind's on overtime. All right. So that concludes the Black History Facts for this evening on the Narrator Podcast. But now I'm going on to my articles. And the reason why I'm doing the articles is to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. I want to showcase and highlight us doing something positive instead of always being, shown in a negative light. So without any further ado, diving into the content, this evening's article is about our people and our culture doing something positive. I'm live, ladies and gentlemen, I'm live, so been a long day. I'm not gonna lie, been a long day for you, boy. Well, we got over hump day. We're now sitting at Thursday. Weekend in full swing. And it is my born day weekend. Make some noise for me. Pisces season. All right, let me see. All right, okay. All right, got it. Got it. All right, so I'm sharing positive articles in my the headline to my first article reads, "Disabled black teen with no use of his arms uses his mouth to draw." And the brother's name is Lucas Mafet. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, he's from South Africa, so that's why. Mafet, Mapheets. That's his name. But Lucas, I got Lucas right. So give a Roaring Narrative podcast round of applause for Lucas Mafet and his amazing talent, and also providing the example is, never too late. Nothing's impossible, because the media and powers that be is always trying to, sell us the image that, everything's just out of our reach. They bombard us with all this negativity. But, this young brother defied the odds. His artwork is amazing, so lifelike, incredible. So if you want to do something, don't let anything stop you. That's a living example of that. And that's why I shared that article. So give it up for brother Lucas Mafet. On to my second article. Woman makes history, opens first ever all black owned, all woman owned bridal shop. Yeah, bridal shop in Minnesota. And the bridal shop's name is Lenore Bridal. And the proprietor's name is Lorraine Love. Lorraine was doing hair and makeup, was a hair and makeup artist for 8 years. She got inspired to open up the bridal shop after she had to go out running errands for siblings. That's just all the article says, but connecting the dots, she must have been, probably helping the sibling with their wedding. Probably. Just using the context clues. But yeah, definitely impressive. First ever of its kind. People be getting married, so supply and demand industry. Give it up for Lorraine Love and Lenore Bridal. And the next article reads, meet the man behind Japan's first major black-owned anime studio. And the brother's name is Artel Isom, I-S-O-M. And I'm probably embarrass myself because, he gonna sit up there and name his anime studio Japanese name. I'm not sure what it means, but the Art Shago, Shajio. It's located in Shinjuku, Tokyo. So that's definitely amazing. anime is like a really, really popular genre. Like all at the them Comic Cons, like you see all these anime fans. It's really kind of amazing. Like back in the day, you probably would like beat somebody up. If you're a Gen Xer, you probably would beat somebody up that was in the anime. But at the same time, we was watching anime. The Gen Xers, like, we had the anime, the end all anime series. We had like stuff like Thundercats, G.I. Joe, the Sunbow, G.I. Joe. What else? Transformers, Silverhawks, Tiger Sharks. Like we had some dope anime in the 80s. Like don't do it. Like y'all's anime is cool, but we set the precedent in the 80s. But I got way off track. I don't know. It just made me have a childhood flashback hearing that. But give it up for Artelism and the art studio in Japan or Tokyo, Japan. And last, but most certainly not least, some very, very, check one, check two, good information. Shantae, headline reads, Shantae Roddy creates She Boss Up grants for minority women. So the She Boss Up grants is basically like a cheat code. Webinar series classes. It just basically gives original women a leg up by giving them access to, startup business grants, everything from starting your own business to just basically like, personal loans, just day-to-day living grants, get your hair did for free, stuff like that. Basically, like it's a hack. So basically, like she creates grants. I'm sorry, I trailed off, but she creates grant opportunities for original women. She got like a plethora of stuff that she shares online, her resources with sisters to, get them the leg up that they need in any industry, whether it's entertainment, whether it's business, whether it's like, financial, whatever field it is, she can find a grant for you. And the name is She Boss Up Grants. And so you can go online and check that out. And her name again is Shantae Roddy. So give it up for Mrs. Shantae Roddy and She Boss Up. Well, that's it and that's all, y'all. So one thing, last week I discovered something. I just did it on a whim. After my articles, I usually go over my format for my normal podcast, my broadcast. But then last week on my last live narrative podcast broadcast, I discovered like just going out of sequence, it was just quicker to I saved time doing my commentary after the articles as opposed to doing my commentary towards the end. So I'm gonna dive into my commentary on random current events, and then I'm gonna walk you through my format for a normal narrative podcast experience, and then close out and leave you to enjoy your evening. It's going to be super brief tonight because there ain't nothing really in the news noteworthy, nothing happening in the world. No, I mean it's always drama, but the type of drama that's going on doesn't really coincide with my content that I share on my platform. It's like I said, I'm here to, uplift and edify and show our people in a positive light instead of a negative light. So there's nothing in that respect going on that's concerning us this week. But I did meet a couple noteworthy things in the media. Just wanted to go across right quick. So, Brother Ye, as he likes to be called now, Mr. West, he finally came down and sat down, had an agreement with the people at Adidas. So he's in a good space with that. Clap it up for Ye. Now, while I don't speak negatively on brothers and sisters on my platform, I do keep it real. I keep it real on my platform, though. Now that he got what he wants, I'm just wondering, is he going to keep that same energy? Now that he finally got what he wants, is he going to keep that same energy, or is he going to go back to Calabasas land? That's all. Nothing else. It was just an inquiry, not a put down. It's just a honest, inquiring minds want to know. All right. Next thing kind of trending in the media. It's kind of bittersweet, but it's bittersweet because, it's sad that it's over, but then it's sweet because, when one door closes, another door opens. So Brother Greg Mathis show will finally be canceled after on his 24th season. So he's been bringing us, good quality content on his platform. The 24 consecutive seasons has finally come to an end. They're pulling the plug. He had unveiled it online. He made the announcement online that, it's going to be his final season. But he was kind of hinting because, I think like Warner Brothers produces that. He said in his interview or whatever it was, that Warner Brothers pulled the plug, and he was kind of hinting that it's just going to be the end of it there. He's waiting for like an all black streaming service to pick it up, or maybe he's going to create his own streaming service where he's going to do his show. I don't know, but it is in definitely high demand. Gotta say, out of all the judge shows out there, he was my favorite judge show. You got so many, you got more than just entertainment. You got life lessons and actually gave you like useful information that you can use, like legal information. We stay in trouble with the law. Got get good legal gems watching Judge Mathis as well as just real life gems as well, helping people like get their life together. Saw so many touching reconciliations on that show, bringing people together. You called a lot of people crackheads though. Like every time you look up, yeah, you a crackhead, yeah, you a crackhead. He called a whole lot of people some crackheads on that show though. But nah, it was a really good show. I'm sad that it's ending, but you know, it's not a shocker because like anything uplifting and empowering, when it comes to our people, it gotta go. Like after they can like extract all the money from it, when it gets to a plateau where it's no longer about the money, then they go to the pecking order. After they get all the money out of it, okay, now we gotta put you in the pecking order, and the pecking order is to keep you under our heel. And if I can't keep you under my heel, then I'm going to cancel you. And that's what they did. Because he was, you know, uplifting and, you know, mending fences and, you know, helping his people on his platform and being unapologetic about, you know, what we're up against on his platform. I'm surprised it lasted for 24 seasons. Because, you know, he wasn't no type of, he didn't beat around the bush. He told it like it really was. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be, you know, kind of sad that that show's gone, but he's still here and he still got his feet in the soil. He's doing work in the community, and still inspiring people, you know, still making a difference. So, you know, like I said, one door closes, another door opens. So it ain't over for Judge Mathis. You know, he's already executive producing television and stuff. He gave us, you know, Trap Queens. I think he did some writing on the American Gangster series. I think he was like an executive producer, something like that on that. But yeah, he got a lot going on, so he'll be alright. We will miss him though. We will miss his like brand of arbitration, television arbitration. So give a warm narrative podcast for Brother Ye and Judge Greg Mathis. Honorable Judge Greg Mathis. Because if you're going to say Honorable Judge, you know, Wapner and Honorable Judge and Shineman and whoever, got to call him Honorable Judge. Well, that's it for my commentary. And now I'm going to give you a brief walkthrough of, you know, a full episode of the Narrative Podcast will entail when you join me this weekend. I upload every single weekend without fail. I just newly started going live for my during the weekdays for my lives. I just started that, but I've been doing this podcast for a hot little minute now. Started it like in the pandemic, in the quarantine, like everybody else that got a podcast did. And so in the beginning, I didn't really know what I want to focus on, what I want to talk about, my goals, and, you know, what I want to focus on. I would just hit the button and just start talking. So I noticed a couple things. The first thing I noticed is it didn't work. I didn't have an audience. I was just basically just talking to my darn self for like about almost 10 episodes. And then, let me just take a little step back. What am I trying to accomplish in this space? What do I want to do? So what I did was broke it up into sections to make it, to make my content resonate and make it more digestible. So I broke it up into sections, and each section has a speaking point. And why I did this is to, set a time limit for myself so I'm not just rambling and ranting. So I actually got a point to my talking and, give it a nice cohesive feel, everything nice and neat and, just flows naturally. So I'm not just rambling on and on and on, and as they say, beating a dead horse. Um, so to make my content more digestible and easier for listeners to keep up with, that's why I did it. So it's my goal never to exceed 1 hour on my broadcast. It's my ultimate goal for my lives to never exceed 45 minutes, but I think I'm well past that this evening. I went off on that little side tangent. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead on and break down my normal format and then close out and, leave you good people to your evening. So first, on the Narrator podcast, what I'll first start off with, my very first section, is my promotional section. And my promotional section is dedicated to, promoting original people, or dedicated to giving the opportunity for original people to own or operate their own establishment, to reach out to me and get some free promotion. I promote them for 110% for free on my platform if they reach out to me, and I give them my contact information. It's readily available right now. So like if you go to my last full episode, which I believe was episode, let me see, punch it up in the episode gallery. Yeah, I believe I was at episode 188. So probably like, I'm broadcasting now, so it's episode 189 right now, and then, but anyway, so yeah, if you punch it up and listen to my last broadcast, episode 188, which I uploaded last weekend, you have all the information you need to reach out to me to get the free promotion. Then my second section is the contest section. And the contest section is basically an incentive for people to keep listening to my content, that's been listening, that's been supporting me from day one, giving them the opportunity to, win something cool for free. And also, it's like listener participation, since I don't have a hotline yet. Just, it's a way to gauge my audience, see who's tapping in, checking on me, because if you enter the contest, that must mean you're a regular. You'll get a bulk supply of your favorite snack simply by entering the contest. The name of the contest is called the Chew on This contest. And what I'm doing is giving you a bulk supply of your favorite snack simply by entering the contest. It's very easy, very simple. No, I'm not charging any money. Um, I'm not charging anything. Like, I'm giving you something, so I'm not trying to get your personal information. I'm not trying to exploit you. I'm just trying to give you something. Um, you know, as my momentum picks up, the prizes that I give away will become more extravagant, but I'm not at that level just yet. So, pretty much I got some merch in the works. So I'll probably be giving away free merch pretty soon for my contest in addition to whatever. And I'm like shopping for, sponsors so I can give away more extravagant things. But for right now, everything's coming out of my own pocket, and that's what I can afford right now. Bulk supply of your favorite snack for entering the contest. And again, that information is on episode 188 of the Narrator Podcast. Go see that to get all the entry directions that you would need to enter the contest. So, which brings us to the first section of the Narrative Podcast is the highlight section. In the highlight section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people, our people. And basically, it's just a comprehensive look into the world of entrepreneurialism. I'm providing the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurialism. I'm highlighting people, regular people, that transition from a 9-to-5 job into owning their own, business. And the reason why I'm doing that section is, again, to destroy negative stereotypes, because we don't have any positive frames of reference about entrepreneurs. All we have is reality shows depicting us in a negative light, calling us each other out of our names and fighting. Like, the Black Ink Crew, like that song. I'm not trying to talk negative. I'm just talking real. He is an entrepreneur. He's an original man that owns his own business, but, it gets drowned out with the violence because there's always somebody arguing and fighting on that show. But in my highlight section, what I'm doing is just, giving you their journey, like how they came up with the idea, where they got their funding, what year, how did they establish the business, how they came up with the name, branding, everything, from the top to the bottom, like about their business. Again, the reason why I'm doing it is to provide a positive frame of reference by entrepreneurialism. Because like I said, the powers that be, they always just portray and project this in a negative light. And I wanted to dispel that in that section, just giving an example that if you want to start your own business, it can be done. Look at this person did it. That's what I'm doing in that section. And then also, trying to get the point across on how important it is to, patronize our own. Like trying to, promote group economics in that section, giving you some top-notch businesses to support. Because we are due reparations, but until we actually get them, it's up to us to support us. So when you see a brother or sister that has, a business, goods and services, stuff you use every day anyway, you might as well get it from your own. That's what I'm doing in that section, in the highlight section. Also in the highlight section are the businesses I feature in it. Take care of the community that they're rooted in. They either have their very own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. They hire their own. Many of them that I highlight in the highlight section are family-owned and operated businesses. So I'm giving you the positive frame of reference about generational wealth, keeping it in the family, and leaving the business for future generations. So not just their family, but for the community that they're in, a place to go to get whatever, or online. I don't know if the business is online. So yeah, that's what the highlight section is about. One last thing, it aligns up with my theme. So last month's theme was, date night, basically, when I had started Valentine's Day, all the things you would need on a romantic Valentine's Day date. And again, I wasn't like promoting Valentine's Day because it has, pagan roots. So Valentine, there's so many things wrong with it. It's a greeting cards holiday and it has pagan roots. Like there was engaging in like homosexual relations. That's how it started. It was like a festival of that. But not to try to make nobody in that community feel away. I'm actual factual on my platform. I tell the truth. Like that's how it started. But the reason why I was sharing it, because so many people go on dates. So if you're going to go on a date, if you're going to spend the time with the person that you're spending time with, that you enjoy spending time with, you might as well keep your money in the community. That's what I was sharing. So after the highlight section, I go to the spotlight section. And the spotlight section is basically me giving somebody in the entertainment industry, their roses while they're still here. That's what the spotlight section is. I spotlight people, in the public eye. It just happens to be in the entertainment industry mostly. So like actors, actresses, comedians, recording artists, athletes, public figures. I've spotlighted religious figures as well, for their upstanding work in the community, giving back, philanthropy, outreach, using their platforms to unapologetically speak on our condition, our people's condition. Or like I said, like giving back, or if it's not just giving back or providing opportunity, it's just, how they visually look, how they visually like carry and conduct themselves to give us a positive visual example of, what excellence is. So how they're coming across visually sometimes. Because we need positive visual frames of reference too. But yeah, that's what I'm doing in the spotlight section is giving them the roses while they're here and telling you about, their upbringing, how they came to be in whatever profession they're in, basically their bio. And then, to congratulate them and, tell them without actually telling them, but, putting it out in the universe what I respect about them and what they're doing and what they're bringing to the table. And not for nothing, your brother, me, Halsey Allen, on the Narrative Podcast, created the wave for spotlighting. Because before I added a spotlight to my podcast, nobody on the internet or online, anywhere, YouTube, whatever platform you want to say, was spotlighting anybody. Now all of a sudden, when you're pulling out your device, your phone, what have you, whatever, everybody's spotlighting somebody now. Today we will be spotlighting on today's show. We'll be doing this, that, and the third, but then and we'll be spotlighting so and so, the life of so and so. Spotlight on this person, spotlight on that person. Nobody was doing that before I started. And I'm not angry at all. That makes me happy. It proves that I'm doing something in my space because I got people looking at me, even though they don't just come out and acknowledge me and say, I'm messing with the Narrator podcast, I'm messing with Halsey Allen. That's cool. But when they start adding spotlights and talking about spotlights, come on, it's your boy. But as the old saying goes, imitation is the best form of flattery. I see so many people doing it now. I'm flattered in the mud. I'm flattered. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for noticing my work. But again, I didn't really do it to get noticed. The purpose of me spotlighting people and giving them the roses is to create the healthy habits of, saying something nice about your brother or your sister, because we are ODing on the slander and the gossip. The powers that be have us brainwashed and conditioned to believe that's the only way you can achieve a bag online is to slander and gossip and tear down your brother and tear down your sister. Use your platform to kick people while they down or hurting or whatever. We're the only people to do that online, air dirty laundry, go back and forth in the comment section, write something nasty on somebody's Instagram page, and, or just airing out the dirty laundry and just all this messiness and nastiness that we do online to each other. We're the only people to do that. You never see two Italians do the stuff to each other online that we do. You never see two Polish people going back and forth doing dirty stuff, saying nasty stuff about each other online in the eye of the public. Just us. We're the only people to do that. To use our public platform to tear down and denigrate each other. And it's all right to not like somebody. Let's keep it authentic, keep it real. We all got that person we don't like, and we just, for some odd reason, we know we don't mess with them. We can't even put our finger on it. And many of us have been the person that, somebody else can't put their finger on why they don't like me. And it's like that for everybody. But what's not okay is to use your public platform to, talk bad about somebody. If you don't mess with them, you just don't mess with them. You don't got to go online and write a big old essay about why you don't mess with them, or go on their platform and, as they say now, it's bullying to do that, cyberbullying. You don't got to do all that. Just don't mess with them. But you don't got to smear them and run them, throw them under the bus and all that they be doing online. But anyway, yeah. So I created the healthy habit of saying something nice about your brother and your sister via the spotlight section. And now, on to my next section after the spotlight section, which is the health and wellness section. In the health and wellness section, what I'm doing is promoting total body wellness. And the reason why I'm doing it is to, help my people stay armored up. We are at the epicenter of so many illnesses and diseases And like I said, they're weaponizing the media against us, making us always, appear to be destitute or, disenfranchised or struggling or in violence, just down bad online, and like just hearing and seeing all that negativity all the time, that definitely like weakens your immune system, and you don't want that in the era that we're living in, because they come out with so much stuff. They're literally like doing stuff to our food, doing stuff to our air that we breathe, doing stuff to the water, the soil, you name it. Putting all this garbage and chemicals and radiation and whatever and everything and things we consume every single day that, specifically attacks our unique genetic makeup, our physiology, just our people, because, it's an inherent agenda to eradicate us. And that's not no conspiracy theory, that's reality. Like, I don't know why you ain't been paying attention to it. I don't know what's going on in your life that you can't see that. But anyway, in that section, basically, I'm just teaching you how to, sharing tips, how to stay armored up mentally, spiritually, and physically, because those are all the areas that we're getting attacked. So something like along the line of physical would be like, the health benefits of a fruit, vegetable, herb, plant, extract, elixir, something that improve your vitality by ingesting it or applying it topically. The health benefits of it. Physical exercises you can perform to stay active and healthy and fit. On the mental side, things like mindfulness, mindful breathing, being in tune with your emotions, emotional intelligence, meditating, spiritual, like praying, and again meditating. Well, prayer is a form of meditation, but spiritual stuff you can do that I share in that section sometimes. And then also sometimes I throw in a wild card. I start talking about metaphysical stuff, manifesting things into reality. But that's it for the health and wellness section. That's what you would be experiencing when you tune in this weekend. And after the health and wellness section, I go on to the speaking point of the day. And the speaking point of the day is usually just topics ranging from, but not limited to, current events and breaking news. Current events or breaking news covering what's going on in the world, what's going on in our community, what's going on in the world or what's going on in our community. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm unpacking whatever it is, whatever type of breaking news it is from our perspective, because the media will have us looking and sounding crazy. So if history has not taught us anything, it's taught us if you don't tell your own story, your story will be told for you. And so what I'm doing in the speaking point of the day is telling our story from our perspective on our own terms and conditions, so they can't warp and flip the narrative. And what I'm actually doing in that section is controlling the narrative, by putting it out from our perspective. And then lastly, my very last section of the Narrator podcast is the final thought of the day, or the final word, final thought. Sometimes I call it final word, sometimes final thought. But basically it's just something very profound, very deep, something that will inspire critical thinking, just something that will resonate with you, a wise word, a gem, a pearl of wisdom. That's my final thought and my final word of the day. And, so that's it and that's all. That's the Narrator Podcast in its entirety. I know you guys are going to tune in to check out the whole show. But as far as this live goes, that's it and that's all, y'all. I'm out of here like last year. Thanks for tuning in. Small request, just download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. Got some more stuff going on too. I've written a book of poetry called The Soul Tapestry. It's about 30 pages of poems. It's available on Poetizer in the Poetizer bookstore. So go online into the Poetizer bookstore and purchase the black card today. Then also I have my own personal poetry blog called Hallziespoetrycorner. Poetry Corner. The web address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. My tagline is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you read them, you'll find out why. So support Hallzies Poetry Corner. Log in today, and the way you support is share any poem from Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms, on your YouTube, your Twitter, your Tumblr, your TikTok, YouTube, whatever platform you got, just share a poem from Hallzies Poetry Corner. Well, that's all I have for you this evening. The only other thing I want to say is tune into the Narrator Podcast regularly as I broadcast live randomly during the week. I never know what days I'm going to broadcast, but tune in regularly. This platform goes straight to YouTube and Twitter when I'm broadcasting live. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. And I'm Halsey Allen on YouTube and I'm Halsey Allen on Twitter. So either one of those, and you will never miss me when I'm live doing a live edition of the Narrator Podcast. But like I said, that's it and that's all for this evening. Thanks for tuning in. Catch me this weekend with another full broadcast of the Narrator Podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. That's it and that's all, y'all. I'm out of here like last year. Halsey Allen in the Narrator Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
To the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.